Hi everybody, this is the Math 10C Exponents and Radicals review, and this is short answer number 2. We're going to determine the greatest common factor for each of the following sets of numbers here. So we're going to do all of these here all at once. Okay, to start off with, what I want to do is I want to list the prime factors of each of these. So 12 is going to end up being 2 squared times 3. And 32 is nice because 32 is just a power of 2. It's going to be 2 to the 5th. Now I'm going to include the 3 here. But because the 3 isn't affecting the overall result, in order to communicate that, I'm going to raise that to the 0. This will be 3 to the 1. My greatest common factor is then going to be a list of all the factors that show up in the above 2. But because it has to be the greatest common factor, I need to be able to represent basically the minimum exponent on both of these here. So between these two here, I've got 2 squared, 2 to the 5th. What's common between those is basically just 2 squared. Between 3 to the 1, 3 to the 0, it really is just the 3 to the 0 that's common, because the 3 doesn't affect the second value here. And so my final answer here is just going to be 4. We're going to do the exact same thing over here, but it might take, whoops, sorry, I went way too far. It might take us a little bit more to get the prime factors here. So 140 to start off with here is going to be 14 times 10, which means there's going to be 2 2s, a 5, and a 7. Now 392 I'm far less confident with, so 392, what do we divide by 2, divide by 2, divide by 2, we got a lot of 2's in there. So we got 3 2's, and then we've got 7 squared. And 490, well, I can see 490 coming from a mile away, because that's going to be 49 times 10, which is going to be 2 times 5, and then the 2 7s. Now, I don't have to write the 5 to the 0 in the center one there. I can, just to include it. And in fact, I might even want to write that in the proper order to make this 5 squared times, 5 to the 0, my mistake, times 7 squared. Okay, just so that I have all of the prime factors with all of them. And my greatest common factor, again, is going to be 2 times 5 times 7, again, with the least exponent amongst all of these. So between the 2, the 3, and the 1, it's going to be 2 to the 1. Between the 1 and the 0, it's going to be 5 to the 0. And I've got 2 2's and a 1 here, so it's going to be 7 to the 1. So my answer here is simply going to be 2 times 7, or 14, will be the greatest common factor of all those 3 numbers. Now we come over here, and all that's really happening is that our numbers are getting a little bit uglier to look at. But it's the same pattern here. If we continue to work at this with just using the prime factors here, this is actually pretty straightforward. Now I know 441 is not divisible by 2, but it is divisible by 3. Okay, and I'm going to do that again. And I'm going to get 3 squared times, and I end up with 49 once I pull it out there, which is 7 squared. 693, this one is also not divisible by 2, but it will be divisible by 3. 693 divided by 3, divided by 3. So I'm going to get, there's 2 3's in there, and then I'm left with a 77. So once I took the 9 out, I got a 77 out of that, and so that's going to be just 7 times 11, and then 819, okay, 819, that is also going to be divisible by 3, and that one is going to be divisible by 3, so it's going to be 3 squared out of that. Then I'm left with 91, okay, 3 squared times 91. Now that, I should have I don't know why I wrote that down. 91 is in fact divisible by 7, and then with the 13 here. So here's my greatest, here are my prime factors of 819. So my greatest common factor, and if you've got a sense of what I've been doing with the last couple, I don't need to put 11 in the first one and 13 in the second one and so on. I can, okay, if I want to, but if I just recognize that those aren't common there, and that if they were here it would be 11 to the 0, I can still follow the same idea of just taking the smallest exponent. So 3, the smallest exponent on 3 was 2, times 7, the smallest exponent on 7 is 1. Now 13 and 11, these are both to the power of 1. If I was to write them up here, they'd be the power of 0. The smallest exponent would therefore be 0. so don't write those. 3 squared times 7 is 63. So the greatest common factor there is 63.